Hello and welcome back. In the previous video, we looked at the most easiest way to install Jenkins, which is by using an installer package. In this video, we will look at more advanced ways of installing Jenkins. First, we will use the jenkins.war file available in the Jenkins website to install Jenkins. Jenkins comes packaged with its own servlet container or app server, which is Jetty. All we need to do is extract the jenkins.war file and we should be all set. The second thing that we will do is deploy jenkins.war file on Tomcat instead of the inbuilt Jetty server. So let's get started. The first thing that we need is the jenkins.war file. For that, let's open up the browser here and go to the official Jenkins website, which is jenkins.io. Once you're here, you should see the download button. Let's click on that and that should take us to the Jenkins download page. Like we saw in the last video, we have the LTS and the weekly releases here, and we will be using the LTS version. Here we see the different platforms for which Jenkins is available, and in the end here, we see the generic Java package, which is the jenkins.war file that we want. Let's click on that and save the file to a location here. You see the file name here, it says jenkins.war. Let's click on save and that should start the download. The download is now complete. Let's quickly go down to the location where we save the file. Let me move this file to a proper location first. Let me right click and cut it from here. Let's go to the F drive and program files. Let me create a new folder here and name it Jenkins and paste the file here. Okay, great. Now the next thing that we need to do is extract this jenkins.war file. For that, let's open up the command prompt here. Now if you're on a Mac, you would have to open up the terminal. Let's go to the folder where we place the jenkins.war file. Let's copy the file path here from the Explorer and paste it here and hit enter. There you go. Now we are in the folder where we have the jenkins.war file. Now let's begin the extraction process. For that, we will have to type in the command java space -jar space jenkins.war and hit enter. Now let me just expand this window here so that we can clearly see what's going on. Here we see the war file extraction process has now started. Here you see that Jetty is a server container being used. Like we did in the last video, we will need the first initial admin password to authenticate the Jenkins install. Here is the password. Let me quickly copy this password here and open up Notepad and paste it there. You can also find the same password under the path given here. c:users admin.jenkins.secrets initial admin password. Here we see that it's finished download of the metadata. Let's open up the browser and type localhost 8080. And you should see the unlock Jenkins page. From here, the setup process is the same as we saw in the last video. Let's copy paste the admin password that we saved on the notepad. Copy it from here and paste it here. You can also get it from the file location here. Let's click on continue. Here we have the customized Jenkins page with the two options, install suggested plugins and the custom select of plugins to install. Let's click on the select plugins to install for now. Here we have all the categories on the left and the three options on the top here, all, none and suggested. We are going with the suggested plugins for now. Let's click on install. This will kickstart the plugin installation process. Once the plugin installation is completed, you will have to create the first admin user. Now, this is similar to the one that we did in the last video. Let me quickly enter a username, password. Let me retype the password. Enter a full name and the email address. And finally click on save and continue. Here's the instance configuration page. I'm going to be using the defaults here. So let me click on save and finish. There you go. Jenkins is now ready to use. Let's click on start using Jenkins button. And that should bring up the Jenkins dashboard page. Okay, great. We just saw how to use the jenkins.war file to install and set up Jenkins. Let's quickly go down to the folder here where Jenkins was installed. It was under users, admin.jenkins. There you go. Here's the folder where Jenkins is right now installed. Jenkins is a web application which is running on Jetty and hence it is available for use as long as the server is running. Let's quickly go down to the command prompt here and press Ctrl C. This will stop the Jetty server. There you go. It says shutting down Jetty. Now let's quickly go back to the browser here and refresh the localhost 8080 page. Now we get the 404 because the server is now stopped. For restarting the server, let's go back to the command prompt and run the same command again. Java space -jar space jenkins.war, and let's wait for the server to start. Now we don't have to go through the setup process this time as we've already completed that part. We see that the server is now started and Jenkins is fully up and running. The browser has also automatically refreshed and has taken back to the authentication page. Let me enter the username and password that we had set up earlier and click on sign in. This should take us to the Jenkins dashboard page. So that's how you start and stop your Jenkins server. Now all this while we've been using the 8080 port for our Jenkins. What if you already are using 8080 for some other service and you want to use say a different port for Jenkins? What do? Now that's possible too. You'll have to use the same command from before. Java space jar space jenkins.war. But this time let's append it with --HTTP port equal to and the port number that you want to use. Let's say we want to use 8181 and click on enter. Now this will start the Jenkins instance on port 8181 instead of the default 8080. There you go. The server is now started and Jenkins is fully up and running. Let's go back to the browser here and try and refresh this, the localhost 8080 page. As you can see, we're getting a 404. Let's go back and hit localhost 8181. And this should take us to the Jenkins dashboard page. Now that's how you start Jenkins on a different port number. Okay, so to quickly summarize what we've done so far is that we've learned how to use the jenkins.war file to install and set up Jenkins. In the next video, we will look at how to install Jenkins on Tomcat. Until then, take care and happy learning.